What is up, lads, and welcome back now to another episode of X Squads. This is episode number 2, guys, and this is my ex-Liverpool squad. A few people requested this in the previous episode, so yeah, I'm going to sort of create this squad. And if you want me to create your your club, your team, just leave it in the comments, guys, and whatever gets sort of the most thumbed up or the most commented comment, I will sort of build that squad hopefully for tomorrow or the next day. But anyway, guys, we'll kick it off with the squad, and what we're going to do is we're going to go like this. And yeah, first for Liverpool, guys, in goal we have got Diego Calaveri. He didn't actually play a game for Liverpool, but he was the reserve goalkeeper for about maybe 3 or 4 seasons a few years back. So yeah, he didn't actually play a game. I didn't even know he played for Liverpool, but I used his website and I found out he did. So he's a Brazilva, so I thought I'd put him in just for the sort of the Brazilva factor. So he's the goalkeeper in the team. And at right back, guys, had a little bit of difficulty finding a right back. Then I completely sort of remembered that Arbeloa used to play for Liverpool. I didn't even realise he played for Liverpool. You know, he's a really good fullback. He's got, you know, decent pace, you know, good passing, and all good stats for an overall 80 rated player. So he's the right back there. And at centre back, guys, we have got Mascherano. He's currently at a CDM. There is an inform centre back version, but I don't have the coins to pick that up. So I thought I would just get a sort of a central defensive midfield and put him at centre back, because you know he plays sort of centre back a lot now for Barcelona. You know, when he was at Liverpool, he didn't really play sort of centre back. He played more midfield. But I thought I would just put him in defence just for this sort of video, just because that's kind of his sort of current position. So yeah, Mascherano there, you know, really good player. He's a really good player for Liverpool. He won the Champions League, I think, with Liverpool. I could be wrong about that, but yeah, I'm sure he did. And yeah, Mascherano, really decent player. Really recommend picking him up. And the other centre back position, guys, we have got Kariakos. There was no 4-4-2 on the market, so I picked up a 4-4-1-1. He currently plays for Wolfsburg, but he was on loan at Sunderland last season. Very, very poor defender. I've seen him live. It was last season at St James's Park when Newcastle played Liverpool, and Andy Carroll got a couple of goals, and he completely bullied Kariakos, which was quite funny, to be perfectly honest. He's a very poor defender in my opinion, and he's probably one of Liverpool's worst ever sort of centre backs I can sort of remember. So I thought I'd put him in the team just for the lol factor. And at left back, guys, we have got, you know, we've got 2 options. We've got Risa or Traore. Traore is currently playing for Marseille. He played for Liverpool a couple of years back in the good days for Liverpool. But I'm going to be going for Risa because he's sort of, you know, he's a more well-known player, really good player, really good free kick taker, you know, beast left foot on him. Absolute tank of a player from Norway. Look at the stats. He's got, you know, pretty well-rounded stats. His lowest stats is sort of like 69 heading, and all of his stats are like in the sort of the mid-70s. Really good player, guys. Really recommend him on all of my team. He's quite underrated. You know, he's, you know, good left foot on him. Take a good set piece. So Risa there at left back, bit of a tank. And at right midfield, guys, we have got Jermaine Pennant. He currently plays for Stoke City, of course, and yeah, English right midfielder, you know, got bags of pace. You know, he hasn't really done much in his career, to be perfectly honest. He's now with Stoke, and his career's kind of just dwindled out. You know, he's not really sort of done anything with it, to be perfectly honest. Obviously, he's been in prison. He's had a tag on his ankle and all that crazy stuff. And it's central midfield, guys. We have got first central midfielder is Xavi Alonso. And Xavi Alonso was probably one of Liverpool's sort of, you know, greatest players in the last sort of 10-20 years. You know, really good central midfielder. Ever since he sort of left Liverpool, they went downhill, really, in my opinion. You know, really good passer of the ball, very good sort of, you know, midfield player. You can play defensive midfield or central midfield. You know, you can pick out a pass. You can shoot. You know, he's not afraid to shoot, as Steve Harper has sort of as he knows to his sort of cost. You know, Alonso scored from the halfway line against Harper, which was quite funny. So yeah, Steve Harper a bit of a beast. Steve Harper is a beast, but Xavi Alonso is more of a beast. So he's there central midfield. The other central midfield guy is we got Morelos. He left Liverpool, I believe it was the sort of like last season or the year before, like in the January window, and really good player, actually quite underrated, you know, in real life. He's a good workman-like player. He's kind of a bit like a Portuguese Milner. He's sort of, you know, he gets up and down. He doesn't really, like, you know, set the world alight, but, you know, he keeps it quite tidy, and he's quite a nice passer of the ball. And, you know, he's not a bad central midfielder to have in the squad. And at left midfield, guys, we have got the beast that is Ryan Babel. This guy is so shit, honestly. Yeah, Ryan Babel, left midfield. He's got 85 pace. Somehow he's 78 rated. He's proper shit in my opinion, but that is that. Used to play for Liverpool a couple of seasons back, and he got sold to Hoffenheim. I'm not entirely sure how much they got for him, but I can't imagine it would have been hats full. But maybe they got a good few million for him. And it's striker position, guys. The first striker we have got is Fernando Torres. Obviously, you all know about him, beast striker in his day, not anymore. He kind of scored in a brothel. But yeah, Fernando Torres, he's really good on FIFA. He's got 4-star skills, good pace, good shot, quite, a nice touch on him. He's struggling a bit at the moment in real life, but he's maybe coming back to his form, possibly. He scored a couple against Ireland, but I suppose it is only Ireland. So yeah, Fernando Torres up front, good striker for Liverpool when he was there. And the right striker, guys, we have got Peter Crouch. He played for Liverpool a few years back. I believe he played for them for 3 seasons. He scored about 20 goals in about 80 odd appearances, which is not particularly great. Obviously, big Peter Crouch, 6'7", bit of a tank. Not the quickest player in the world, but he does get the 9 chem in the squad with Pennant, so that's why I kind of put him there, just to try and get the chemistry a little bit higher. And in the manager position, guys, we have got Roy Hodgson, of course, in a 4-4-2. This took me a while to find, actually, the Roy Hodgson. That was the hardest card to get. Not a bad manager. Didn't really work for him at Liverpool for whatever reason. He didn't really last long, and it kind of went all a bit south for him. But he's done well at West Brom, and he's currently doing well for England. Got them in the quarterfinals against Italy tomorrow night, so that should be a good game. So that is the starting 11, guys. Hope you like the starting 11. Now I'll show you the bench and some reserve players that also played for Liverpool. We've got Djibril Cissé, used to play for Liverpool, not a bad striker, a bit crazy, he's been sent off a few times this season for QPR, but all in all, not a bad striker. The other striker we got is David Ngog, not a bad, player on FIFA, but in real life he's absolutely shocking. I've seen him twice last season, and he was very poor for Bolton. He gives you nothing, going forward. He should be quite strong, he's 6'3", but in real life he's weak as out, and he's slow, and he's just absolute dreadful. His touch is awful, kind of scoring a brothel, bit like Torres, I suppose. And yeah, the other striker we got is Michael Owen, played for Liverpool obviously a few years back when he was younger, and when Michael Owen was good, about 10 years ago. So yeah, there's Michael Owen. Also got a Harry Kewell, used to play for Liverpool a few years back. Not a bad player in his day. Obviously he's getting on a little bit now. Next player we got is Lito. He played for, I don't think he actually played a game for Liverpool, but he was there, and he got sold to Panathinaikos a couple of seasons back. The next guy we got is Jovic. Played for Liverpool 2 seasons ago, sorry, not last season, and not the greatest player, to be perfectly honest. Quite a poor player in my opinion. The next guy we got is Benayoun. He's not a bad player in real life. He's quite a tiny footballer. He's quite underrated, and I wouldn't exactly say I'm a fan of him, but I quite like some of the I've seen him a few times and I've quite liked him. That's what I'm trying to say. So yeah, not a bad player in the squad. Played for Liverpool a few games for Liverpool. The next guy we got is Danny Murphy, who played for Liverpool at the start of his career, I do believe. Not a bad player, and I think he's been released now by Fulham, which is quite interesting. He's getting on a bit now. Was he 1977? Yeah, so he's getting on a little bit. The next player we got is Poulsen, who didn't exactly set the world alight at Liverpool. Not very good, to be honest. I think he was in the Denmark squad this summer in the Euros, but he didn't get much playing time. I think he came on a couple of times off the bench. The next guy we got is Paul Konchesky, who was a Roy Hodgson signing. Absolute shocking player. He's so shit, it's unreal. Yeah, Paul Konchesky there. And the next 2 players we have got is Daniel Ayala. He was at Liverpool just last season. He got sold in Norwich for £800,000. Quite maybe a good centre back when he gets a little bit older, but he's only quite young. I do believe he's only 21. And then we have Whitbread there, who's also at Norwich. He's actually also been released from Norwich. He's an American centre back, and he played for Liverpool a couple of seasons back. So yeah, guys, obviously I have not got every single player that used to play for Liverpool. I've missed a few players out, such as like Heskey. Lol. Look at all the the comments here. But yeah, Heskey, there's a few other players that I've missed out. I just, I couldn't exactly get everyone. There's only so many players that I can get. But I filled the subs and the reserve subs. So I hope you like this video. If I've missed anyone blatantly obvious, do leave it in the comments. It would be muchly appreciated. And if you enjoyed the video, guys, leave a like. The video went down really well yesterday. In the Newcastle United squad, it was like over 30 likes already, which is great. So if you enjoyed this video, leave a like. And remember to leave a comment with the squad which you want me to do next. So your team, it could be any team you want, Real Madrid, Accrington Stanley, could be anyone. So just leave a comment, guys, and I will sign out now. So yeah, guys, peace.